Hey now, community changers, and welcome back to NKay Solutions. My name is Kyndal, and I am here to help you women take your vision to community change by creating a community organization that changes lives and produces purpose. If you fell on this video today, then that means you are looking to provide or to figure out what resource your community organization is going to provide. Either this is your very first time creating a community organization, or you already have a community organization and found that you want to revamp or do some different things with the resources that you want to provide based on the need of your community. This is the video for you because today we're going to talk about how you're going to take that research that we did last week to figure out what resource you're going to provide to your community that's going to solve their problem. So basically, if you weren't here last week, I have a whole entire video on how you can use research to determine what the problem is in your community and how that will help you provide the specific resource that's going to help solve that problem. And we're going to talk about that today. So, like I said, I encourage you to watch the previous videos, specifically what problem does your community organization solve? Because it'll help you better with this particular video. So let's do a small recap. Your community organization should take your community from the problem to a solution. And the way that we do that is by providing some kind of resource right there in the middle. Your community organization's resource should help solve the problem you found in your community. Last week, when you went through the research worksheet, it helped you figure out the problem that your community was having. And these are some of the ways that we talked about you could do that research, right? You could talk to other people, you could look into other organizations, you could utilize the internet in all aspects, whether it be Google, social media, YouTube. I encouraged reading research articles, calling 211 to figure out how other organizations are. Helping others and figuring out the problem they want to solve. Also, using the Census Bureau data as well. So, these were the different methods that we talked about last week that would help us define the problem. Now that you know the problem, there are many ways you can provide resources for your community. And I like to break them down in three different sections, but these are just some examples, and I want to make that clear. You do not have to do it in this way, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to give you three examples to get your mind churning, okay? So you can do it in tangible items like a soup kitchen, um, toy drives, hygiene products, or a pantry, whatever that might be, depending on what the problem is that you need to solve within your community. It may also be in monetary giveaways. Say you want to help with rent, utilities, tuition for school, or tragic situations like a fire or a hurricane, or maybe somebody just died and they need monetary funds to pay for funeral expenses or some things that they didn't necessarily see foreseen. Maybe the funeral is in a whole nother state and they need money for a plane ticket or a bus ride. Maybe you are a domestic violence organization and you're going to provide transportation for that victim from where they are to a whole nother state so that they can be safe and secure. Monetary giveaways can look so different in so many ways, but these are resources that your organization can provide. Another one that many people don't think about is education. Education can be done through master classes that you host in person or online. You can do online courses that somebody can do on their own spare time. You can create ebooks or you can do coaching. You can either do coaching virtually like this, or you can do coaching in person. I know a young lady who does financial coaching for her nonprofit organization called Project Rise. Not only does she do the financial coaching, but she also has master classes that she offers for the members that are a part of her organization. So there are many different ways that you can provide resources so that you can solve that problem in the community that you wish to help. Sometimes you will find that you may need to offer one resource in order to provide the actual resource you want to give to solve the problem or to reach the goal or that vision that you see for your community organization. And let me break that down a little bit for you. Say you want to provide education as far as people what they can do in their home to make the environment safe. You want to encourage recycling. So, yes, we can't always do something for people on the outside as far as making the environment well because we can't control other people's behavior. But say you want to teach people how they can help the environment right here in ways in their home. And you have a master class where you want to help people and teach them how to recycle items that they use on an everyday basis. Well, maybe your community isn't feeling that. And you may have found that out during the research that your community is suffering from a particular problem. And in this one, we're going to use the example of pollutants in the water. So, yes, you want to teach people how they can start recycling items in their own home to help the environment, but people aren't really focused on that at that particular time. They're worried about the pollutant water that they are receiving out of the tap. Now, with you doing that research, you find that there are water filters that your organization can provide so that people can put these filters on their water and then they can have non pollutant water to drink, to bathe with, to feed their family with. And that is something that they're going to come to your organization for. Now, say you host an event where you're going to be passing out these water filters. At that event, you can either give them an ebook of how to recycle in their home, or if it was me, since you're here, I'm gonna give you a little master class. So while you're here, I'm going to not only give them the water filters, right? I may feed them, provide them with some kind of sandwich and chips or something like that, maybe from, Jimmy John's or Subway. And then while they're eating, they have the opportunity to listen to a master class or to listen to a video talking about how to recycle right there in their own home. And that way, your community organization is killing two birds with one stone. You're not only providing them a answer to one of their pain points that's keeping them up at night, right? Remember that? Which is the pollutant water, but you're also giving them a resolution and some help in regards to so we don't keep having this polluting water. Let me show you how you can recycle by taking these methods right here in your own home. And then that way you are still meeting the objectives that you have for your community organization, and you're still helping to see the vision of a healthy environment starting from the home that you have for your community organization. I know I say this all the time, but I mean it and I truly, truly believe it. Your community needs you. Whether if you're trying to save the environment, save women from domestic violence, teach people financial literacy, give people hope by spreading the gospel, it doesn't matter. The community needs whatever you have to give. Why do I know that? Because God planted that seed in your heart and it won't go away. It is still there and it's still there for a reason because the community needs you. So, what can you do from here? If you don't already, grab my 10 Questions Foundations Framework workbook, which talks about these 10 questions that we are going through throughout this 10 question foundation framework series. It'll give you a little heads up. The next thing to do is to figure out what form you will deliver your one resource, okay? I don't want you to get so consumed in all the things you want to do. Like, oh, I know I want to do a master class. Oh, I know I want to have a food drive. Oh, I also know I want to have a big event gala to raise money. And I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. Once we start thinking about that, sometimes we can get overwhelmed and then we just don't do anything at all. I want you to think of one resource that you can provide to your community right now that you know that they need. And I want you to also use the research that we did last week to know that problem so that you can figure out how you're going to deliver that resource to them to solve the problem. So that's what I want you to do this week. Once you do that, next week we're going to come back and we are going to talk about a major deal, which is your strategic plan. You can't do nothing if you ain't planning, period. You can have all of the vision in your head that you want, but in order to take your vision to community change so that you can change somebody's life and produce purpose, you got to have a plan, boo. And next week, we are going to talk about that plan. If you are in need of any help about anything we have talked about thus far, or if you have some questions about how to start a community organization, whether it be a nonprofit, a ministry, a social enterprise, if you want some advice or you have some questions or concerns, hit me up. I'm here to help you. You can book a consultation session with me. It's $27 for a full hour, and I would be honored to be able to sit with you and help you iron this out and help you get started on this amazing journey in changing somebody's life. Last but not least, you know where to catch me right there on Instagram at NKay Solutions. I would love to see you. Right now, I'm currently doing the 25 tips that you need for your community organization. So check that out. And also, you can check out my website if you would like. Until next time, community changers, take your vision to community change by creating that community organization that's going to change lives and produce purpose. Peace.